number of other organizations that work on behalf of the rights, the health, and the safety of women throughout the Commonwealth. We are here to express our strong support to an act relative to gender-based discrimination and hate crimes. Transgender women and men in Massachusetts deserve to be protected from discrimination and treated equally under the law. This is a simple matter of fairness, and the time for this legislation is now. We are also here to denounce the use of scare tactics by opponents of equality who have used ugly radio advertisements and emails to raise the specter of violence against women and children in connection with this bill. We know about violence against women and children. It is real and it is tragic. More work needs to be done to educate the public about domestic violence and sexual assault. But opponents of equality should be ashamed to twist these issues to support their political agenda. To those that are spreading unfounded fears to impede transgender legislation in Massachusetts, we say, not in our name. Also saying not in our name are several other organizations that work with women and children, and they're standing behind me today. Along with Mass Now, we have Jane Doe, the Mass Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, the City of Boston Women's Commission, the City of Cambridge Women's Commission, the League of Women Voters, the National Association of Social Workers Massachusetts, the National Council of Jewish Women, the Victim Rights Law Center, and the Women's Bar Association. As you see behind me, there are many other women that support this legislation, and I'd like to take a moment to read a statement on behalf of the organizations that are hosting this conference with us. We, the undersigned, unite in our support of an act relative to gender-based discrimination and hate crimes. We call on our legislators to pass this bill, which will add the category gender identity and expression to existing Massachusetts hate crimes and to non-discrimination laws in the Commonwealth. Transgender people are currently not protected from discrimination under employment, housing, credit, public accommodations, and public education. This legislation will reaffirm the right of all Massachusetts citizens to live with dignity and respect, free from discrimination and from violence. As organizations committed to advancing the rights and protecting the health and safety of women and children throughout the Commonwealth, we are called to stand for justice for all people subject to gender-based discrimination, harassment, or violence. No person deserves to be fired, refuse work, denied housing, education or credit, or live in fear of harassment because of his or her gender. Collectively, we have worked for decades with thousands of Massachusetts women and children, from Boston to Springfield, from Haverhill to Pittsfield. We know the day-to-day reality of women's lives. Opposing this bill does nothing to protect or benefit women or children. By suggesting that this legislation makes the bathrooms unsafe for women and children, opponents of transgender equality spread dangerous myths about assault and divert attention from the facts. The fact that the vast majority of sexual assaults and domestic violence are committed in the home by relatives or acquaintances, and the law provides no safe harbor for criminal activity wherever it occurs. It is offensive that opponents of this bill will use unfounded threats to scare women and those who care about our safety into opposing legislation that will protect others from real violence and real gender discrimination. These scare tactics are a dangerous diversion from the real sources of discrimination and violence that women in the Commonwealth face every single day. We reject the use of fear-mongering in our name as a political tool and urge all legislators who truly care about women and gender-based violence to support an act relative to gender-based discrimination and hate crimes. Thank you.